Hello, today we'll be going through practice questions 221 to 230 for the Cisco CCNP exam. Let's begin. When using BFD in a network design, which consideration must be made? The correct answer is A. BFD is used with dynamic routing protocols to provide sub-second convergence. BFD is a lightweight protocol designed to detect link failures quickly, often in milliseconds. It works alongside dynamic routing protocols to trigger rapid route convergence when the link fails. Why the other options are incorrect? B. BFD is used with first-hop routing protocols to provide sub-second convergence. BFD is primarily tied to dynamic routing protocols, not first-hop redundancy protocols like HSRP or VRRP. C. BFD is used with NSF and graceful to provide sub-second convergence. NSF and graceful restart focus on control plane resiliency during a route processor switchover, not on link failure detection like BFD. D. BFD is more CPU intensive than using reduced hold timers with routing protocols. BFD is actually more efficient than aggressively reducing hold timers, as it is purpose-built for fast failure detection with low CPU overhead. Therefore, the correct answer is A. A server running Linux is providing support for virtual machines along with DNS and DHCP services for a small business. Which technology does this represent? The correct answer is B. Type 1 hypervisor. This represents a Type 1 hypervisor because the Linux server itself is running directly on the hardware and is providing virtualization for multiple virtual machines. At the same time, it is also offering DNS and DHCP services, which means it's acting both as a hypervisor host and as a network service provider for the small business. A Type 1 hypervisor runs directly on the bare metal and is designed for hosting VMs, which matches the description. Why the other options are incorrect? A. Container. Containers share the host OS kernel and isolate applications, but the question specifies virtual machines, not containers, so this does not fit. C. Type 2 hypervisor. A Type 2 hypervisor runs on top of an existing operating system. The scenario describes a server directly supporting VMs, which is Type 1, not Type 2. D. Hardware pass-through. This refers to passing a physical device directly into a VM, not a full virtualization setup running multiple services for a business. Therefore, the correct answer is B. Which features does Cisco EDR use to provide threat detection and response protection? The correct answer is A. Containment, threat intelligence, and machine learning. Cisco's EDR uses containment to isolate compromised endpoints, threat intelligence from Cisco Talos and global telemetry, and machine learning to detect and respond to advanced threats, as its main features for providing threat detection and response protection. Why the other options are incorrect? B. Firewalling and intrusion prevention. These are features of network security devices, not specifically EDR solutions. C. Container-based agents. Cisco EDR agents are not container-based. They are lightweight endpoint agents but not built around containers. D. Cloud analysis and endpoint firewall controls. While cloud analysis is a component of many Cisco security products, EDR's core is focused on detection response with containment, threat intelligence, and ML, rather than endpoint firewalling. Therefore, the correct answer is A. An engineer is configuring local WebAuth on a Cisco wireless LAN controller. According to RFC 5737, which virtual IP address must be used in this configuration? The correct answer is D. 192.0.2.1. According to RFC 5737, the address blocks 192.0.2.0/24, 198.51.100.1/24, and 203.0.113.0/24 are reserved for documentation and example purposes. Cisco WLCs use 192.0.2.1 as the virtual IP address in local WebAuth and other guest access configurations following this standard. Why the other options are incorrect? A. 172.20.10.1. This belongs to the private 172.16.0.0/12 range, used for internal addressing, not reserved for documentation, example per RFC 5737. B. 192.168.0.1. This is a common private IP gateway in the 192.168.0.0/16 range, not a reserved documentation address. C. 1.1.1.1. This is a real, publicly routable IP, not reserved under RFC 5737. Therefore, the correct answer is D. What is one benefit of adopting a data modeling language? The correct answer is B. Refactoring vendor and platform-specific configurations with widely compatible configurations. The main benefit of adopting a data modeling language like Yang is that it provides a standardized, vendor-neutral way to describe device configurations and operational data. This removes the need to rely on vendor-specific CLI syntaxes and allows network automation tools to work consistently across different platforms. Why the other options are incorrect? A. Augmenting the use of management protocols like SNMP for status subscriptions. Data modeling languages are not specifically meant to extend SNMP. Modern models are used with netconf, resconf, not tied to SNMP. C. Augmenting management process using vendor-centric actions around models. This is the opposite of the benefit. The whole point is to avoid vendor-centric approaches. D. Deploying machine-friendly codes to manage a high number of devices. While true in spirit, this is too vague. The key benefit is not just machine friendliness, but vendor platform independence for consistent configuration management. Therefore, the correct answer is B. In Cisco DNA Center, what is the integration API? The correct answer is D. Northbound consumer-facing RESTful API, which enables network discovery and configuration management. In Cisco DNA Center, the integration API is a northbound RESTful API. It's consumer-facing, allowing external applications to interact with DNA Center for tasks like network discovery, configuration management, assurance data retrieval, and automation workflows. Why the other options are incorrect? A. Southbound consumer-facing RESTful API. Southbound interfaces are used by the controller to communicate with the devices, not consumer-facing APIs. B. Westbound interface. Westbound APIs refer to integrations with external IT systems like ITSM or IPAM, but Cisco DNA Center specifically calls its integration API northbound, not westbound. C. An interface between the controller and the network devices. That describes the southbound interface, not the integration API. Therefore, the correct answer is D. An engineer must configure a new WLAN that allows a user to enter a passphrase and provides forward secrecy as a security measure. Which Layer 2 WLAN configuration is required on the Cisco WLC? The correct answer is D. WPA3 Personal. A WLAN that requires users to enter a passphrase means it's a personal configuration. To provide forward secrecy, you need WPA3 Personal, which uses SAE instead of a static PSK exchange. SAE ensures forward secrecy by generating unique session keys each time. Why the other options are incorrect? A. WPA3 Enterprise. Enterprise requires authentication via 802.1x and radius, not just a passphrase. B. WPA2 Personal. This uses a PSK but does not provide forward secrecy since all clients share the same key. C. WPA2 Enterprise. This provides stronger authentication with radius and can support forward secrecy, but it does not use a simple passphrase as the question specifies. Therefore, the correct answer is D. How does an on-premises infrastructure compare to a cloud infrastructure? The correct answer is C. On-premises offers lower latency for physically adjacent systems than cloud. On-premises infrastructure is physically located close to the systems and users it serves, so latency is minimized compared to cloud services, which require data to travel over the internet to remote data centers. Why the other options are incorrect? A. On-premises offers faster deployment than cloud. Cloud typically offers faster deployment because resources can be provisioned almost instantly, whereas on-premises requires hardware setup and configuration. B. On-premises requires less power and cooling resources than cloud. The opposite is true. On-premises requires significant local power and cooling, while cloud providers handle these in their data centers. D. On-premises can increase power faster than cloud. Cloud can scale up compute resources much faster with elasticity, while on-premises is limited by existing hardware. Therefore, the correct answer is C. Which option must be used to support a WLC with an IPv6 management address and 100 Cisco AeroNet 2800 series access points that will use DHCP to register? The correct answer is B, 52. When deploying a Cisco WLC with an IPv6 management address and APs registering via DHCP, the correct DHCP option is option 52. This option provides the necessary IPv6 cat web controller information so that Cisco AeroNet 2800 series APs can discover and register to the WLC. Why the other options are incorrect? A. 43. This is used for providing the WLC IPv4 address to APs, not IPv6. C. 60. This is the vendor class identifier option, used to identify device type to the DHCP server, not to pass controller addresses. D. 82. This is the DHCP relay agent information option, used for policy or location-based services, not for WLC discovery. Therefore, the correct answer is B. A customer deploys a new wireless network to perform location-based services using Cisco DNA spaces. The customer has a single WLC located on premises in a secure data center. The security team does not want to expose the WLC to the public internet. Which solution allows the customer to securely send RSSI updates to Cisco DNA spaces? The correct answer is A. Deploy a Cisco DNA spaces connector as a VM. The correct solution is to deploy a Cisco DNA spaces connector as a virtual machine on premises. This connector securely collects RSSI and location data from the on-prem WLC and then forwards it to Cisco DNA spaces in the cloud, without directly exposing the WLC to the public internet. Why the other options are incorrect? B. Perform tethering with Cisco DNA Center. DNA Center is not required for DNA spaces integration. The connector is the supported method. C. Replace the WLC with a cloud-based controller. Not necessary. Cisco DNA Spaces works with on-prem WLCs using the connector, so replacing the controller is overkill. D. Implement Cisco Mobility Services Engine. MSE is an older solution for location services and has been replaced by Cisco DNA Spaces. Therefore, the correct answer is A. We have come to the end of today's video. If you liked the video, please make sure to like and subscribe. Goodbye.